Okay, guys, we'll start with a weekly review. We'll start on 4/6, the morning of 4/6. You can see right here around 7:10, we get a nice down signal. Had an up signal here. I took that and got a few ticks, but the real move was this down signal right at 7. And you could have got in this thing around 165.16, roughly 165.15. Wouldn't have been stopped, and you could have rode this thing down all the way to this purple pivot easily. Probably, maybe might have gotten out here at this first pivot line, but you could have went to 163.20. I've got a Fibonacci line on here. Let me just take that off. But yeah, good short signal right through the main pivot line down to FS1 and S1. So a great trade on Monday. Let's go on to Tuesday. Looking around, it was a little choppy Tuesday. You could have taken this long signal around 440. Maybe got 5 ticks. I mean, you could have gotten 5 ticks if you'd have got in about 164.01. And that runs up to 6. So yeah, it'd have been a 5-tick trade, and you'd have been stopped out. Then you could have taken this short signal right at 6 o'clock. Could have got in about 164.02, taking that guy down to this pivot level at least. That's 163.26. 6-7 ticks there. Not a bad trade. This one would have been a tough one, but it was a signal right at 8. We're starting to get into those time frames where we don't want to trade, but could have taken it. Probably would have been tough to get filled, so you probably would have stopped out on that, but you would have already had 2 good trades for Tuesday morning. This is out of my trade time. Was a good trade. This is definitely out of my trade time, and look at this guy. This was a monster. There was probably on Tuesday, there was probably a bond auction or something. We'd have to go look at the news, but there was a good long signal here that you could have got in around 163.27, 25, and rode that bad boy way up. Probably would have gotten out at about 164. So you could have maybe got a point out of this guy, but that was a great Tuesday trade. So a couple of trades for Tuesday. You could be positive ticks. Let's go to Wednesday, and this will be Wednesday 4/7. All right, yeah, 4/8. So let's see, right around 5 o'clock, you have a long signal. Could have got in 164.29, 164.30, easy 5-tick trade, and pulled a break even, and you would have stopped out, but you could have gotten 5 ticks. This short signal at 650, I would have taken it. Been tricky. Probably would have gotten in around 164.21, 164.20. You could have got 5 ticks out of it and pulled the break even and it stopped here. This one would have been a stop out for me, more than likely. But then right at 8:40, which is getting to real close to our end time, that'd have been a great trade. That'd been a fantastic trade. And rode that guy down to the pivot. So you notice these pivots, the white is the actual pivot point, and my reds upper or lower are the Fibonacci pivot levels, and then the purple are just the standard pivot levels. But look how these things adhere to these levels. Up here at the top here at the white pivot, and then down here at the red. Yeah, it went through it a little bit, but look, almost to the tick to the purple. Pivots on 30-minute or pivots weekly pivots on this 10-minute chart are quite interesting at how they adhere. So let's go to Thursday. So we still had some profitable trades there. Okay, Thursday. 250. Yeah, I'd have taken that and stopped. So that'd have been a negative. But then we're right here at 4 o'clock. We're in a good trade. You're in 164.24-ish. Easily 5 tick, and you could have trailed on up. So that could have been an easy 10 tick trade, 10 or 15 tick trade, just depending. I typically like to do 2 contracts, 1 contract for 5 ticks, and then a runner, if you will. So, and when I get my first 5 ticks, I bring it to break even, and then if it keeps running, fantastic. Here at 620, that would have been a quick stop. This one would have been a quick stop. But then look what happens at 720. Right up here at the pivot too. You notice right here at the pivot, you get a monster trade, and that makes up for these 2. But you already had one good morning. Let's see, you probably had a stop here. You had a good 10 ticker. Stop. So you might have been about break even, maybe down 5 ticks. But then this trade here, short, would have made up for all of that. This would have been tricky right here. Notice the cross, the 8 and 55 cross, pretty powerful. If you're already in a trade, you get that cross. You've got a good, typically a pretty good trend going there. So all in all, Thursday would have been a profitable morning. Would have been tricky here. You'd had some stop outs, but you could have pulled it out right here with this trade easily. So let's go on to Friday. Look how far that guy went. Probably would have gotten out here. This is still Thursday. You would have gotten out here, but you still would have had a great run. So let's go to Friday and see what happens. Friday. Yeah, I took this trade 420 and stopped. I took this trade, got a couple of ticks. I took this trade and stopped, and then missed this trade. Why, I don't know. I think I was probably frustrated by then, but that was the monster trade. Look how it went right through that pivot, It didn't quite get to any other levels, but here's a trick. If we can see it, look at this little white line over here. Remember, this is Friday. This little white line is next week's pivot point. It went through it, but it didn't go much. So you can use these pivots. Look how it stopped and chopped around at this pivot level, and then chopped around this pivot level the rest of the day. I missed that. That would have made my morning quite positive, but I did catch this down signal, and kind of brought it all back together. Anyway, that's the week of 4/6 through 4/10. Was a positive week for me trading ZB bonds, and I hope you liked the video. Thanks.